Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Divergent views and interpretations have continued to trail the recent ruling by Justice INYANG EKWO of the Federal High Court ABUJA in a suit filed by some delegates contesting their exclusion in the People's Democratic Party PDP primaries in Edo State. Lawyer and public affairs analyst Frank TIETIE and professor of constitutional law Richard WOKOCHA said the fate of PDP and its candidate ASUE IGHODALO in the September 21st gubernatorial elections in the state remains dim.
Last week, an Abuja High Court rocked the boat of the PDP when it ruled that some 378 delegates of the party should not have been excluded in the February 22nd primary elections of the party that produced ASUE IGHODALO as its flag bearer. In a suit brought by 3 delegates of the party on behalf of 375 others, Justice INYANG EKWO observed that in line with Section 82 of the 2022 Electoral Act, as well as Article 50 of the PDP Constitution, the persons in question were lawfully elected delegates and as such should not have been excluded from the February primary elections. This ruling by Justice EKWO has left ASUE IGHODALO winner of the February 22nd PDP primaries in limbo. However, legal experts and political observers are left divided in their opinion about the validity of the said primaries and the candidature of IGHODALO. Lawyer and public affairs commentator Frank TIETIE and professor of constitutional law Richard WOKOCHA offer their perspective on the High Court ruling.
The PDP will go into that election with a candidate that has a measure of uncertainty hanging in the air over the head of that candidate. And that decision ultimately may decide whether or not, even after the PDP wins the election, whether it can still stand. Because it will be an issue that can be raised at the Electoral Tribunal.
INEC will be free to say our interpretation of this is that what you had, which did not comply with the order of the court, which came after you had it, has invalidated what you did. So it will leave the situation open to the interpretation of everybody who has a role to play.
Last week, supporters of the PDP took to the street in Benin to echo their support for IGHODALO and his running mate. It thus appeared that neither the ruling of the court nor the legal opinions of Frank and Professor WOKOCHA on the potential dangers ahead is slowing them down.
We are not disturbed about any court case or anything like that.
The PDP primary that was conducted in Ogbemudia Stadium was well conducted.
However, it is uncertain if they are sleeping peacefully at night, especially given how often complex judicial rulings on election matters have turned the tables in the Nigerian political space. Just recently, in 2023, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja also nullified the participation of the PDP and its candidates in the general elections in Plateau State for non-compliance with electoral laws and refusal to carry out the lawful order of court. This may not be the exact scenario playing out in Edo State, but it does highlight the judiciary's pivotal role in shaping the political dynamics in the country, which Edo PDP must navigate with caution if it intends to participate and win in the September gubernatorial elections. For TIETIE and Professor WOKOCHA, the issues of internal democracy and transparency in the electoral process calls for serious attention in order to stem the recurring judicial interventions in the political landscape.
One solution that I think that is readily available is to design a system that will ultimately, fully, completely exclude the judiciary from taking part in the electoral process.
You can hold these things in a way that is less crisis-riddled or that is crisis-free. But we, rather than do that, if there is anything that is made certain, we even dismantle it and leave it more uncertain.
Inside the Niger Delta,